Right, hello again and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series with the Summoner. This is the other match. If you haven't seen the C, this is the second. You should go see that one first. But this is the other match where I'm pretty sure the matchmaker derped, because as I said, I recorded all these in the same day within the same couple of hours. So this was on Saturday the 14th of April, for anyone's interested, between midday and 2. And yeah, it was strange. It really was. I'm convinced now, this match more so, that the matchmaker was completely broken. So, we'll get the mech out of the way first. The Summoner D is what's called a multi-role fighter, which basically just means we didn't really know what else to do with it. So, it's got 2 ER large, 2 ER medium, and it's got dual machine guns, has twin AMS, and a targeting computer. On top of all the other things that come with the Thor normally, which is jump jets, and it's got a pretty decent speed in XL350. So, the mech is fairly well armed, although not overly so compared to some of its peers in the heavy category. But it's manoeuvrable, it's agile, doesn't overheat that quickly, and it can engage at pretty much all ranges. The AMS makes it a more palatable part of any build you want to take, because it's a good way of shielding you from missile fire in MWO. So it's not terrible. I actually do really like this. The only problem it suffers from, like a lot of clan mechs, is LSAS, which is low slung arm syndrome. Now, that aside, it's a really fun mech. The ballistics hardpoints are higher up on the side torsos. I believe it might be one in each, or it's one in... No, it's one in each side torso, same as the AMS. So if you want a dual AMS, dual ballistic summoner, the D's got good ones on the left and right. And I just said that D, and I know people are going to make the joke now. Oh yeah, the D's good. D's good on your torso, folks. Good on your shoulder. Yeah, it's a good mech. Even default, it's not bad. It's 4 energy hardpoints, 2 ballistics. Again, not an amazing number of hardpoints, and again, one of the reasons probably why the summoner gets passed over for some of the other mechs in the clan heavy range. But I'd still recommend having go with it. It's quite fun. You can make a really nice pulse build with this, with some larger ballistics if you want to go with that route. This thing, I did run it for one while with dual LB2s in the side torsos and pulse lasers, and that was just fun because you could just fire for days. It could easily handle the heat of the dual LBs firing, and because of the range, you could really harass people, and it would make them panic because they were just getting hit by ballistics constantly. It was really fun. I did enjoy that. So yeah, Summoner D, that's that out of the way, right? The match, like I said, the match, people were getting dumped into... I'm convinced it was like tier 4 and 5 players on the other team who were being dropped against, I guess, tier 2, 1 and 3 at least. 3 being the lowest. It was uncomfortable, I'll say that. I felt bad. I think at some point you see a catapult firing LRMs way beyond max range. They just explode in the sky. There's a PPC carrying mech that just fires and does no damage because, again, it's well out of that range. There is a bushwhacker with some LBs that does a little bit of work, but again, it's just firing LBs at such a range that it's spreading across the mech. It's never going to wear you down. But there were other weird things. You'll see the scoreboard at the end. I think 4 of the other team do 0 damage. And is this indicative of the population crisis of MechWarrior Online? I don't know. I really don't know. It's odd, because I didn't think the player numbers could possibly be that bad at times, but it seems like on a weekend it really takes a negative dip. And as I said, I want to stress this before anyone thinks I'm having a go at the players on the other team. I really am not. I feel that it was bad of the matchmaker to have done that. It was bad of the matchmaker to have selected players who clearly did not have the time, in-game time, to be put against other players on the opposite team who had a much higher rating. And if it couldn't find people, it should have more evenly spread the players who had a higher tier between both teams, so it would have been more equal. But this was so heavily weighted, so badly weighted against them. it was just, it wasn't a match. I think at this point you see the Jenna run past, and that Jenna does 0 damage, by the way, before he dies, and he's well within range to have fired his weapons. That's how weird the match was. That's how broken it was, and that's why I kept this recording as well as the C one, because it's just an example of the weirdness. And I know you can hear Hebe in the background, and I can't shut her up. I really can't shut her up. So I'm just going to have to try and hit her with something. Go away, Hebe! Because she keeps meowing, because she thinks someone's moving around upstairs. But yeah, it's a bizarre one. It really is. I've said, oh, there's like weird hitching at this point. Don't worry, that's not YouTube or anything in your system. That was just what happened in the match. I think the time of day switch occurred, or something. I don't know. It just had a weird stall. So yeah, this is uncomfortable. It wasn't fun. It was unfair, and I really hope that the players who were involved in the matches of that day didn't have a run of those kind of matches where it was just constant beatdowns, because if they did, I wouldn't blame them for leaving the game. Because who wants to play a game where you get into it and it's just that badly weighted? Well, what's the point? Why would you bother? Yeah, it was really annoying. And you have to win it. You know, you have to fight. You can't walk off the map or something. But I was recording it, and I was just I said I was shocked at just how bad this was. I've heard of people in the past talking about having matches like this, and I didn't think it was a problem anymore, but clearly it still happens, and I do think it's because of a low population in MechWarrior Online these days. Maybe only on certain days, but that's not a good sign. That's not healthy for a free-to-play shooter. It should have at least a baseline of players enough that matches can be, you know, roughly balanced, and this wasn't. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
25%. Target destroyed.